Welcome to Mobile Rolling. After the short break, it'll be my pleasure to holler for a Mario. Welcome back to Mobile Rolling, where I have hollered for a Mario, but he's actually well known for his advertising with Hollow for a Marshall. How are you, Mario?
I'm great, thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure being here.
So, for those that don't know Mario Borg, he's a little man in stature, but very, very highly respected in the industry. Before we get to that, we'll do our normal, where were you born? How did you end up here? So did you go to school? Were you a naughty boy? We can answer all of those. So, Mario, where were you born?
I was born in Melbourne in a hospital called Footscray Hospital, and I grew up in St Albans.
St Albans. So, what, your family, brothers, sisters?
I'm the youngest of six.
Okay, so yeah. You would have been sport then, Mario?
No, far from it.
Okay. So what did your dad work, your mum work? What was the story?
My father worked in a place called Pacific Dunlop. It was a tyre place. He was a forklift driver. He was a shift worker. And my mother worked in a moccasin factory.
So where were you living at that stage? We
were living in Henry Street. Well, we were living in St Albans on East Esplanade. I was too young to remember Henry Street. Mm-hmm. But we moved to East Esplanade, which is virtually around the corner.
So where's that? Is that southern, western?
Western suburbs.
Okay.
So we've always been in the western suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up there and spent most of our life in the western suburbs of Victoria.
Mm-hmm. So when you obviously went to school at some stage, probably?
Well, you'd think I didn't, but I did. I went to Sacred Heart Primary, and then later on our primary school became a college.
So that's a Catholic school,
Catholic school, yes. And then our primary school became a college as well. So then from when we just skipped into from grade 6 to 7 high school. So that was Catholic Regional College.
So you didn't go to uni, anything like that? You just...
No, never went to uni.
So you went to a few of their parties, but you didn't go to uni itself?
Never went, didn't even go to their parties. I was too busy working by then.
Okay, so where was your first job?
Well, my first job was basically in a galloping stables. It was a galloping stable cross harness racing stable.
And who was that? Do you remember?
It was old Ken Rickard. Okay. He used to have Elmore Bay, Mad Max, and he also used to have the Inter-Dominion horse Tan Hill. Mm-hmm. So I spent a good 12 months with him because I wanted to become a jockey. So were you
at that stage? How tall were you, and how much did you weigh?
Well, I'm probably still the same height, but a few more kilo.
So you were 4 foot what?
4 foot nothing.
And so you rode a lot of track work and stuff?
I did a lot of track work, yeah. And
you ride any of your horses now?
I would love to. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'd be able to sit on one now. I don't think my knees would hold up on it anymore.
No, you don't sit on your knees. It's not a show.
I just can't hold and sit in the stirrups anymore. So.
Okay, so you were there for a year or more?
I was there.
How old were you then? Were you still going to school, or you'd left school?
Bit of part-time.
Okay.
And then I really decided that it's where I wanted to be. So then I left school.
And you were working with the horses?
I was working full-time with the thoroughbreds as well, mostly. And I wanted to be a jockey, but then they came to me and said, look, you're just going to be too heavy. So you can become a jumps jockey, really. And I've just gone, nah.
So how did you transition over to... So how old were you then? So
I was about 16.
Okay, so between the
15,
ages,
16.
We'll go from 16 to 21. Did you work, or were you in the horses? Were you then get into the harness racing, or what did you do?
Well, it was basically... you can't do the thoroughbreds or become a jockey, so you can still work with thoroughbreds, but he suggested to me that I step into harness racing, which was, again, great idea, but then I thought, well, why would I want to be into harness racing on this side of the city, which was Cranbourne at the time, or Bangholm next to Teddy Demler, just up the road from Teddy Demler's place at Carrum Downs, and I thought, well, Arnie Gator was there down at Rockbank, back home, closer to home. So she rang me up and said, well,
So when we talk about Auntie Gator, please explain.
Well, her father and my grandfather were...
So Gator who?
Pulicino.
Right.
Her father and my grandfather were pretty close, and she knew our family quite well. So she decided that, you know, if you're going to work in the harness racing industry, you better come work for me.
So at that stage, Gator was doing what? She was obviously one of the first women drivers in Australia.
She would have been one of the first women drivers.
Was she helping train? Was she married? What was the story?
Well, she was married to Frank by then, and they had Tony. Tony was about, I reckon he was about 4 or 5. He just started school when I went there. And then...
so you're a lot older than Tony?
A lot older. Well,
Tony would like that. So, okay,
probably about 15 years.
So you went there, and what did you do? Did you drive track work and stuff like that?
Well, she threw me straight in the deep end. I'd already started doing track work and all that with Ken Rickard anyway, so it was basically straight into work.
So just going back to Rickard's, did you ride track work with the gallopers and then ride in the trots in the same day?
Yeah, we used to do, we used to do is we used to jog the horses and the bike, and we used to have the gallopers on the side.
Okay.
And then when it came to fast working, sometimes there was a couple of gallopers that were a bit hard to ride, so we used to fast work outside the sulky or get on them and ride them.
So Gator was at Rockbank at the time?
Yep.
So how old were you then?
I would have been, I think, just on, say, 15, 16 then,
Okay.
yeah.
So how long did you stay there for, and then where did you go after that?
I basically stayed there till I was in my 20s, really. And then...
So did you have any other job, or were you just doing horses?
Nah, just horses.
Okay, so
just did horses.
Where did you go after
that? After that, I had to go to Port Macdonald. Joe Buttigieg was finding it pretty hard to control his business and the stables.
So Joe was doing what, the crayfishing?
He was doing the crayfishing. So I went out there, over there, to give him a hand for a while.
How long were you there for?
12 months.
Only a year?
Only a year. I was there just to help him because we had to get his business back up and running again. I had a bit of business issues. And then...
So were you there, were you helping him with the business, or were
both.
you So, because we know what you're doing now, because you're holler for a Mario. Where did you get the expertise to run the businesses that you're running now, which we'll go into later in the interview?
Trial and error.
Okay.
That's where I got my expertise, plus
Trial and error.
External learning.
So a bit like my marriages. Trial and error.
I got that one right.
Yeah. So you went from Port Macdonald?
Yep.
So you've gone into South Australia now. Where did you go after that?
Well, what happened was, from South Australia, I knew that I wanted to go down the line of keeping the horse racing industry as a hobby. And a friend of mine who used to work for Exide Technologies in Victoria, they had moved from Victoria to Port Road, I think it was. And then from there they went to Elizabeth. And he said, look, we need someone to come and help at the factory there. So I said, I'm here for 12 months. So it was going to take him a good 12 months to set up over there anyway. And then I got the job at Exide at Peachy Road.
So this is Exide Batteries?
Exide Batteries.
Okay. So how old were you at that stage?
I would have been easy 21 actually.
Okay. So you came back here and you got a job?
Yep.
Now, we all know that the most significant person in your life is Lisa, your wife. When did you meet Lisa? And what happened there? Because obviously her side of the family had horses as well, didn't they?
Yep.
So just give us a bit of a run through of how Lisa came into your life, and obviously from there to...
Well, I think, Lisa, I met her through the trots, through harness racing, because I had knew her father, I met her father. And then I didn't realise that they were in the battery industry as well.
Oh, really?
So I met her through the harness racing, but her father, his nickname, I should have clicked, his nickname was Battery anyway. So he used to sell batteries. He used to drive around a truck, picking up seconds and reselling them and buying his own
So how old were you at that stage?
I was probably about 22.
Okay. So when did you how long you been married now? How old are you now? You're
50. 52. And we've been married we've been together for over 30 years. So
okay.
We've been together since I proposed to her within 2 months of being together.
You want to let her go?
No, I won't. She said no the first couple of times.
Yeah, third time lucky. So, just on that, her father, what was his name? And he had a really nice horse, didn't he, at one stage?
Yeah, he had a few nice horses. His name was Jockey.
Yeah.
And he had like 8 Diamond Sportscraft that he had with the Peter Surge and Cabonis, and then he had Franco Capri, and Stand and Deliver.
And what about, didn't he have a really good baby that...
He bred a baby out of a mare called Tony Charm, which he won a service fee to Surma Hanover, and that ended up being not so cheap.
Not so cheap.
There's a funny story around that horse, so because when he bred it and it was born, and there was a few other people, professional breeders out there that said that horse, when he said he was going to put it into sales, because back then to be eligible for the races, you had to put your horse through the sales, and
was that
the size?
Yeah, was that at Wayville?
Yes.
It was
no, it wasn't at Wayville. It was
at the new place.
At the new place, yes.
Yeah.
And they sort of laughed at him and said, if you get $500 for that horse, you'll be
You're laughing.
You're laughing, and he ended up getting $10,000 for that horse. Bruffy's one of Kevin Bruff's owners bought him, and he ended up being one of South Australia's best 2-year-olds.
Yeah, not so cheap.
Yep, not so cheap. His name was, and he ended up being one of South Australia's best 2-year-olds.
And it couldn't have gone to a better bloke as far as
Bruffy.
training. Kevin Bruff.
He was a very good man. Very good horse.
Very good man with the horse, and still with his involvement with his partner now, Rebecca East.
Yes.
He's a very smart man. So, when did you start? So you've gone from Port Macdonald, you come down here, you got the business. Did you have horses at that stage down here, or
I had a few horses that I'd brought over from Joe's. I had Mr. Malta, Satin Tabella, Centrifugal Force. I brought all those with me.
So where were you training those?
I was training out of Boris's place, Boris Devchek's place.
At Globe Derby?
Yeah, where Lois Randall lives now.
Oh, right.
So I was training out of there.
So, your business, like your father-in-law's family, your wife and her family were in the batteries, and so were you. Just run us through what you were doing in your business life. Like, you just didn't come along. I mean, I know you got a pretty big operation now, but it didn't start like that.
No.
So how did you go? Did you have other family involved? What were you doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, when I went to eventually started working at Exide, well, actually it was called G&B at the time, and then they were bought out and become Exide. I knew by then I had done all the manufacturing side. I was one of the coordinators there, from being a line worker to the coordinator there, and then I basically decided that I wanted to grow in business myself, and I wanted to start going down that line of management. So I started putting myself through courses and all that kind of stuff. So I knew where I was going with management, and I really grasped that really well, and I really liked it. So then from then on it was, do I want to stay here? Do I want to start working on my own business? So
when you were younger, schooling wasn't up the top of your priorities, was it?
No, there's a funny saying
I would have said that some of your school teachers would have been surprised, but also very proud that you've made the leap.
Yes.
You had to wait for 10 years after you did your schooling to...
Yeah, I think we start school too early, to be quite honest. I don't think we really know what we want to do in life till later on, to be honest. But
yeah, but it's no different than they give us our superannuation when we're 70. We want to get it when we're 20. So that doesn't really work. So at the moment you've got a business, family-owned business, I presume?
Yeah, my wife and I and brother-in-law own, my wife and brother-in-law own Modbury Battery Service, and my wife and my brother-in-law and myself own the land on Modbury Battery Service, and I have Adelaide Battery Company, who's under Australian Battery Corporation, who runs Marshall in South Australia.
Okay. So with your batteries, are they sourced overseas, sourced here? What are you doing?
We used to produce our product here at Elizabeth, and then Ramcar, who are Supercharge, bought Exide out, and they shut it down. So now all our batteries are made in the Philippines.
Oh yeah.
Which is quite good because we get to really interact with the manufacturing side over
Yeah,
there,
exactly.
so we can
Have some input.
have a lot of input for our standards in South Australia, and you know, I'm always on the phone to them, so look, this, that, and that, and, which is really great with their board over there. They're really good.
Righto, I think at this stage we'll have a break, and then after the break we've talked about getting you to the level, we're at the level where you've got your business and a few of the horses. After the break we'll come back and we'll discuss about your involvement in administration and other parts of your life, personal, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.